Today, folks, we are going to be doing a live beekeeping demonstration here over at the Bee Folks. Yay! I get to work my bees. You know the best part about working bees? Nobody bothers me while I'm working them. It's true. I enjoy working the bees. I am the beekeeper. And so what I'm going to be doing today is going through my hives. So what I've got here is 10, 11, 12 hives. I am sitting like maybe 10 feet in front of them. Let me see if I can get this turned around so you guys can see. This is what I'm looking at right now. These are my beehives. That one down there at the very end that's got the yellow strap on it, that is the swarm that I picked up the other day. And I'm going to be checking on that one first just to make sure. I believe I picked up the queen when I grabbed the swarm. But we'll go in there and see what all's there. But a couple tools of the trade I have. See, we're not very big on names for things. We call this one a hive tool. You want to guess why? I'll tell you why. It's a tool and we use it on the hive. Like I said, we're not very creative that way. Anyhow, so this is a hive tool. This is essentially our pry bar, our scraper, our chase the bears away, and anything else that we need tool around the beehive. There's no bears out here, not this time of year. Anyhow, got on some gloves. What you're not seeing today is my smoker. The bees aren't there's not very many in the hives right now because it's still early spring, and they're all working out in the field. They're more interested in bringing food back than in me, so as long as I'm not, behaving like a big scary bear or something like that, they're gonna leave me alone for the most part. Anyhow, this particular hive right here is the swarm that I collected the other day. If you go to my Facebook page, you will see a video about when I was collecting that swarm. In general, hey, cool, check this out. See that? Oh, and look at that queen right there. Do you see that? That big dark animal right there, that is the queen bee. Get out from underneath those bees there, honey. Come here and show off. That thing right there, look at how big she is. That is so awesome, and spotted her right off the bat too. Where did she go? Right there, she's running away from me. Queens typically don't like daylight. But, guys, that was just so completely awesome. She is huge. Oh, I'm so excited. It's always exciting when you get these bees in because you don't know what you're gonna get, but she looks like an absolutely gorgeous queen. I love her. Oh, check this out, guys. Here, let me turn this around and I'll tell you what you're looking at. All right, do you see those bees down there that are bridging between this side and that side? You can see them down there a bit. That is telling me that those bees have a queen and that they are happy. In general, that is all I need to see right there to know. Oh, and I don't know if you can see it, but way down there, way down here, they're doing the same thing. See how they're bridging across like that? Bees that are queen right, that are happy, they will do that. These are some very happy bees right there. See all that shiny? That is all honey that these bees have brought back in. And they've only been here since Thursday, Friday. But deep down in those cells, there is something that looks like a grain of rice. I zoomed in there. Let me see what I can do. No promises. Move. What I'm just doing is moving these bees away. Let's see here. I know I spotted them there. Where did it go? See those white things that look like grains of rice? Please give me lots and lots of hearts for those. Those white things that you're seeing down in those cells, that is bee eggs. And those are only going to be a couple days old because these bees haven't been in there all that long. They look like white grains of rice. Here she is. Check this out. There's the queen again. Isn't she a gorgeous, gorgeous queen? She is long. And the thing about the queen, this is her right there. The thing about the queen is that her body's longer because she's got to fit that tail into those cells to lay the eggs properly. Now the sad thing is that right here, let's see here, I'm getting sunlight coming through the trees, and that's playing with how well this is focusing right now. You can see eggs in those cells. Isn't that gorgeous? They're almost like opaque, and they look like tiny grains of rice, but the queen's got to be able to get her butt all the way to the backs of the cells in order to get those eggs in there properly. And so the honey, what typically happens is you get the eggs laid in one part of the frame, and then they put a layer of pollen on the outside of that, because as the larva's growing, they're going to take that pollen and bring it in to feed the larva. And then outside of that pollen, there's going to be another ring of honey. And so it's easy to bring all of this food in to the babies. Now, I'll give you guys a quick tour of the parts of a beehive. And sorry about that, hit the wrong button. So, now as I go through this, let me remind you, again, us beekeepers, we don't have a huge imagination. I'm not going to apologize for that. Gets us through the day. So, what we are looking at here, turn this back around. We have something that is called a bottom board. Yeah, I said it's not very imaginative. With the bottom board, essentially, it gives the bees a place to land. It gives a bottom so that predators can't just walk straight up to the bottom of the hive. We have this is called a hive box. This one is a deep hive box. There are 3 different sizes. I use only deeps because I'm lazy and I don't like swapping my equipment around all over the place. Inside of the deeps you have frames, and I was showing you the frames earlier. This particular box holds 10 frames. With a 10-frame box, the intent is for the bees to create as many babies as possible, because the more bees, the more honey they bring back in, so forth and so on. Let's see here. So you can get any number of boxes stacked up, and that entire stack is going to be a hive. Doesn't matter how, it could be 1 box, it could be 12 boxes. That is 1 hive. On top of those boxes, you have an inner cover. Now this inner cover is designed so that air can come in, come up through here, and if it's humid air, it will hit the next piece of equipment you see, and any water that condenses will fall down on this instead of falling back down into the hive and potentially getting the bees chilled. Alright, and then on top of that, we have the outer cover. Excuse me a moment while I use 2 hands. That outer cover covers all of that equipment. It's got a waterproof top on it. In this area, it's often made of tin. It can vary a bit depending upon what part of the world you're in. Now here, you can see a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. What you have is this area right here where you've got that smooth brown wax on top of these cells. That is the brood nest that the bees have made. Some of them have hatched and come back out, and the bees have gone back in. There's a lot of pollen in here. So around the brood nest, they're going to put this ring of pollen, and then around that you see this ring of honey, and that's so that it's easy to bring all of this food into the babies, and right now they're just waiting for the babies to hatch. Right here you can see that big bee right there. That big one right there is a drone. That's a boy. If you take a look inside of there, you can see the white larva inside of each one of those. So, which I always find really cool. Here's one that has pollen on her back legs. Anyhow, so that's what's involved with checking the beehives. I do that about once a month. Springtime I might do it every 2 weeks. And so it's going to be a little bit before I jump back out in the hives again. Thanks so much.